Rayfield Robinson, number 21. As we look at the offensive blockers for John Elway, Gary Zimmerman, one of the best tackles in football. Leonard Russell could get 25 carries today with Rod Bernstein out. Miller and Tillman, the starting lineup. Shannon Sharp, the all-pro tight end. Miller, Derek Russell, the wide receivers. Kimbrough will come in as a third wideout. Puts it up on first down, and he throws a strike downfield as he goes to tight end Jerry Evans, and Evans takes the ball across the 30-yard line. We apologize for the technical difficulties at the outset of the game, which hopefully are now corrected as we're coming to you from Husky Stadium, the temporary home for the Seattle Seahawks. They expect to play their next home game back at the Kingdome, which had some roof repairs. John Elway at quarterback. And he told us yesterday he feels a lot of pressure. He really feels that the load of this team is on his shoulders. It's been that way for 12 seasons, but more now than ever. As the handoff goes, and running wide with the ball is Leonard Russell. Seattle's been tough to run against this year, and they're tough for Leonard Russell on that play. Robert Blackman, the strong safety on the stop. As you look at their front seven, Cortez Kennedy's the best. 2 years ago, he was the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. Wooden having a terrific year at outside linebacker. And Eugene Robinson, the free safety, was a consensus all-pro player last season. That's how the dime package looks. Second down. Broncos need 8. Off, and Leonard Russell is stuck hard by former All-Pro Rufus Porter. A gain of only a yard, so the Seahawks play the run well, and now a passing down comes up for Elway and the Broncos as we have 3rd down and 7, Chris.
I'm a little surprised to see Denver come out and just try and run the football on 1st and 2nd down. Their best weapon, John Elway. They want to get something established with Leonard Russell, but at least so far, can't run on this Seattle defense.
And here's what you think Elway should be doing, working from the shotgun. Loose ball, and Elway falls on it. He does maintain possession, but there's a loss of 6 yards on the play back to the 28-yard line. So the Bronco offense is quickly off the field, and their punter comes out, and Coach Phillips has to wonder when's this going to start to work.
Of course, Don, I would also suggest that they catch the football if they're going to go from the shotgun offense. And so we have had very short opening offensive series from both these teams.
The punt hit downfield now by Tom Ruin. Galvin Martin from his 29. He's across the 35 and out to the 39-yard line. So the Seattle offense comes out for a 2nd time. Down to make the play on special teams was Jeff Robinson for the Denver Broncos. Temperature over is about 65 degrees. Overcast day, sun breaking through a little bit. Good day for football here in the great Northwest, as Seattle starts with its 2nd possession now.
Kelvin Martin had a big day last week, his first 100-yard receiving game of his career against Indianapolis.
Veteran, he was a former Cowboy, signed here as a free agent. For one reason, he said he wanted to start to play from scrimmage. Here's a long ball by Meyer downfield. He's got it right on target to Brian Blades, and he can't hold the ball. As Coach Flores, who wants a more vertical passing game, more of a downfield passing game, lets Meyer put it up, and he does almost hits the big play. It'll be 2nd and 10.
They look deep, but Farrell Edmonds was wide open. The tight end running across the middle. Really looked like Brian Blades had Randy Hilliard beat on the play. Rick Meyer underthrew it just a touch and allowed Hilliard to catch up and finally get a hand in there.
Now Meyer brings his team out. 2nd down and 10 from just across his 38-yard line. 10:45 to go. First quarter, there's no score. Warren cuts back. It's Warren stopped at the 40, somehow sheds a tackler, breaks back, and gets ahead for a gain of about 8 yards.
Chris Warren 3rd in the AFC in rushing and in total yards. He's their leading rusher. You're going to see Chris Warren more often than not today. He has 106 rushing attempts coming into this ball game. The next closest on this team is John Vaughn with 18. So when they run the football, it's Chris Warren.
And we'd like to welcome those of you who've just watched Buffalo defeat Miami 21-11. As the Bills move into a first-place tie in the AFC East with the Dolphins. Don Criqui with Chris Collinsworth at Seattle. Meyer with a nice throw in the flat. Running in the open field is his fullback, Steve Smith. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
I don't know if Carl Mecklenburg got picked off on this play or just lost his coverage. Number 77 in man coverage on the fullback and just seemed to lose track of where he was. Nobody in the flat. Easy reception for Steve Smith, and Mecklenburg's not one of those guys going to run him down from behind.
Usually it is the middle linebacker who has the first back out. As Smith swings out of the backfield, it's a 26-yard gain. The Seahawks now starting to challenge inside the Broncos 30. Smith again hitting hard down to the 25-yard line. Tackled on the play by Carl Mecklenburg. He still looks good, though, doesn't he? He looks physically ready. When we met with him yesterday, Mecklenburg, 12-year veteran.
Yeah, but he also knows that he's getting on towards the end of his career. They had to re-sign him just before the opening of the season. They had plans of replacing him, but then when Dave Wyman got injured, they called on him. But when you talk to these coaches, they know that Carl Mecklenburg should not be the starting middle linebacker on this team.
How about the strong safety, Dennis Smith? He's in his 14th year.
Getting a little...
it's ancient by NFL standards.
Getting a little old.
Warren cut down behind the line of scrimmage as outside linebacker Mike Kroll shot the gap. Made the play. And that brings up 3rd down and 10 now for Rick Meyer and the Seattle Seahawks.
Mike Kroll, who had such a great rookie season with 10 sacks, had 5 sacks in each of the last 2 years, but strained an arm muscle in the opener against San Diego and had to miss the next couple of games. So a big plus to get him back in the lineup.
Let's see what Meyer goes to now as they set him in the shotgun from the Denver 29. Takes a look, throws a pick, goes right to the all-pro safety Atwater, who takes it back across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line. So Rick Meyer, who throws very few interceptions, that's only his 4th of the season, gives up a scoring chance for Seattle as the Broncos. Steve Atwater makes the big play. 23-yard return after the interception, and Denver has the ball when we come back. Of Lake. Let's check back and watch Atwater's big play a moment ago when he intercepts Rick Meyer.
Well, this is really just a gift for Steve Atwater, running a crossing route and just gets away somehow, just sails on Rick Meyer. There's really nobody even close.
The proverbial room service interception.
Can't get much easier than that. You see that ball at least 10 to 12 feet over the head of Kelvin Martin.
Denver Broncos struggling to get it right. They were rated a Super Bowl contender before the season, and they're off to their worst start in 30 years. 0-4. Coming off a bye week, they've had 2 weeks to get ready. Elway fires and he hits his man Shannon Sharp over the middle. And the all-pro tight end is ahead to the 48-yard line for a Broncos first down.
What a difference Shannon Sharp makes in this Denver offense. Tight ends are kind of like pacifiers for quarterbacks. when all else goes wrong, at least you can hand him the pacifier and then he starts to feel good about himself again. We saw it last week that Shannon finally came back and contributed, and obviously John Elway was much sharper.
Now they go to the run. Reggie Rivers on a counter, cuts it back and gets down to the 46-yard line of Seattle, where Cortez Kennedy, number 96, is the tackler.
Well, one of the things that Rusty Tillman, the defensive coordinator for Seattle, was concerned about was the ability of the Denver Broncos to get outside his defense. You take a look at Cortez Kennedy. He admitted he had probably the worst game of his career last week against Indianapolis. Expect him to pick up the pace today.
He's invariably double-teamed, sometimes triple-teamed as Cortez Kennedy. Elway. It's to Leonard Russell and the big back who rushed for over 1,000 yards for the Patriots. Turns it upfield and takes it inside the 25-yard line. Finally tackled by the Seattle strong safety Robert Blackman, knocked out of bounds.
Watch number 64, the pulling guard John Melander, get out in front of this play and get just enough of the linebacker to allow Leonard Russell to turn the corner. Breaks a tackle, good downfield blocking.
So now the Broncos mounting a challenge in the scoreless first quarter. 6.5 minutes to go in it. First and 10 Denver. Pitch back. Russell gets a gap and takes it down inside the 20. And with a power drive, he takes it to the 15-yard line. He got 9 yards, very close to a first down. Eugene Robinson, the free safety, finally got him.
Well, Rusty Tillman's nightmare is living itself out right now. This time they pitch it, and it looks like they're going to try to go around the corner. All the offensive linemen way out to the flank, and Russell just cuts it back up the field. Luckily, Eugene Robinson able to make a one-on-one tackle.
There's Rusty Tillman, the gray-haired man in the background there, as the handoff goes straight up the middle. It is good for a Bronco first down. Derek Clark, number 43, got the call. And it'll be first down and 10 now for the Broncos at the 11-yard line of Seattle.
What a disastrous interception it's turning into now. Rick Mirer with really a fairly easy throw, misses it badly, and John Elway and the Broncos now making him pay for it.
Elway told us yesterday he feels that he's had success, and Denver has against Seattle, because they give up a lot of stuff to the pass game underneath. They tend to take deep drops in their zone. He hit sharp in that big underneath play that went for a big game. This time they go for the run. Rivers runs it. One man gets him. He bounces off that. Reggie Rivers drives down to the 8-yard line, where Brent Williams finally takes him down for the Seahawks.
Really a nice play there by Brent Williams, who came over after 8 years with the Patriots. He looked like he had gotten himself too far up the field and then bounced back. He was able to make the tackle on Rivers. Probably saved a touchdown there.
Denver with Don Maggs at the right tackle position for injured Russell Freeman. Maggs blocking well. Leonard Russell moves outside, and a big play by the all-pro safety Eugene Robinson, who knocks him out of bounds for a loss on the play.
What a year Eugene Robinson is having and has had in the past. Has more interceptions than anybody in football during the decade of the 90s. Also the Seahawks all-time leading tackler. And Don, now they get down to a goal line passing situation, which has been kind of shaky ground for John Elway and the Broncos this year. A couple of disasters late in the fourth quarter cost them games.
3 times they had first and 10s inside the opponent's 15 in the final 2 minutes and couldn't make anything happen. Elway looks, he fires, and he overshoots. Shannon Sharp running a drag pattern to the outside. Dave McClellan, the dime back, was in covering him, a former Colorado player. So now the field goal unit comes out on 4th down.
It's like John Elway is limping off the field and also shaking his right hand. The limp you can live with, you have to be concerned with him shaking his hand. Michael Sinclair with the bull rush. Sam Adams, the #1 draft choice, getting right in his face. Perhaps a lot of times you'll see the quarterback hit his thumb on the helmet of the defensive tackle.
Jason Elam with a 26-yard field goal, and he bangs it right off the scoreboard, right through the middle. And the underdog Seahawks now find themselves behind 3-0. The Broncos have taken a 3-0 lead. Here is the kickoff return. Coming back with the ball is John Vaughn, who has missed the last 2 games for the Seahawks with an eye injury. He brings it back across the 25-yard line, and Meyer, who was intercepted on his last throw, brings Seattle out for its 3rd possession of this game, with the Broncos in the lead 3-0. John Elway apparently jammed his thumb a little bit in that last possession, Chris.
Yeah, it looked like the pass rush got there just as he was delivering the football. Luckily, he's not hurt any worse than he is.
Broncos in the lead. Seahawks with the ball. Hand off to Chris Warren. And he drives ahead for a gain of almost 8 yards out to the 33-yard line as they start up after the play. Bronco defense in ill humor, as you'd expect, having given up that many points. Ben Smith in a pushing match.
Ben Smith comes over from the Eagles. He knows how to fight on the field. They're working on John Elway's thumb on the sideline. He went back behind the bench and threw a few balls and looked okay, though. the franchise. $5 million per.
Yeah, that's what Wade Phillips told us yesterday. He said you got a $5 million quarterback, you've got to put a lot of good people around him. That's why we went out and got receivers for him. And as Rusty Tillman, defensive coordinator for the Seahawks, said, there's nothing wrong with the Denver offense except it's not getting in the end zone. They're really moving the ball 375 yards a game. Meyer with a quick throw over the middle, gets his tight end, Farrell Edmonds. That's only his 6th catch of the year, but it's good for a first down out to the 41-yard line, tackled by Atwater.
And Mike Kroll really gave Rick Meyer a pop at the end of that play. Kroll just coming on the blitz, and it's up to Rick Meyer when the tight end releases like that to just simply get it out of there on the hot read. And a little headbutt from Mike Kroll as Rick tries to shake it off.
Seahawks down 3-0. Meyer hands to Warren. Good fake by Meyer. Started to bootleg, and some of the defense swung with him. The carry was by Warren, and he gets it to the 44-yard line. He faked after he handed off. Started to bootleg. Ted Washington was the tackler. He's troubled by a leg injury. Does not have his usual quickness, nor does his other tackle in the Denver defense, Dan Williams. It's a fumble by Warren, and a ball once again comes up into the hands of the Denver Broncos, who were near the bottom of the league in turnovers.
Covered by the defense. Denver
Seattle was at the top with a +9, but this game in the last 2 possessions, the Seahawks have turned it over twice.
I really didn't see the fumble, and I'm not sure most of the Seattle players did either. They were sort of just standing around or getting ready to get back into the huddle. Warren takes the handoff, and see, just before he got to the ground, I think the football's laying there right at the top of his head, and his arms pinned underneath him. He couldn't go get it.
Elway takes a look. He fires hard, and he was nearly picked off. Elway really putting some hop on that ball as he fired it at Cedric Tillman. Eugene Robinson almost made the play on it. Elway hasn't lost any pop in his arm.
Don, you really hit on the key, though, that Seattle wins football games by not turning the ball over. That is the entirety of their game plan. Just don't make key mistakes. So far, a fumble and an interception in this one.
Denver converting that first interception into a 3-pointer. Now we'll see what they do in this possession. It's 2nd and 10. Play whistle dead. An apparent infraction before the apparently there's going to be a timeout called by Seattle before the snap of the ball is signaled now. So with 1 minute and 57 seconds left to go in the first quarter, the Denver Broncos continue to lead the game 3-0, and they'll have the ball when we come back. Austin. Not sure which one's going to show up.
He's hoping for the same one today.
So far today, though, it's been Mr. Hyde. 2 turnovers. Ortez Kennedy shoots the gap, takes 2 blockers, and then the tackle is made by McCrary. Sinclair was also on the stop as they get good push on the defensive front of the Denver Broncos. Also on the stop was Sam Adams, who they're expecting great things from.
Yeah, the #1 pick just completely destroyed Brian Habib on that play. Got in the backfield. That's the kind of pressure they need out of this Seahawks defensive line.
Elway looking deep. Dumps it over the middle, but he's too high for running back Glenn Milburn. So the Broncos have to punt the ball.
Huge defensive series that time by the Seattle Seahawks defense. They really needed to pick this offense up. One of the best teams in all of football, not turning the ball over, but really put the Seahawks in a hole 2 straight series.
Calvin Martin back inside his 10-yard line now for Seattle. It's a 3-0 game. Denver, 1:23 to go, first quarter. A well-hit punt by Tom Ruin. A high punt that forces Martin into a fair catch at his 10-yard line. And from there, Meyer and the Seahawks, who've turned it over on their last 2 possessions. The first interception of Meyer, the second a fumble by Chris Warren. And now they'll try again. 1st and 10 from the 10.
On such a big game, there's Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator, talking with John Elway, but such a big game for Wade Phillips. He just needs to have some of the heat taken off of him. There was a radio station in Denver that had one of their guys go around with Wade Phillips player's resume trying to find him a job. So, I mean, it has gotten just short of ugly in Denver this week.
Well, he's been through it before. He and Elway both talking about they've been in holes before and gotten out of them. And they're playing in coaching careers. Here is a pitch back and running with the ball to the near side is Chris Warren, and he's taken down on the play by Randy Hilliard, and a penalty marker comes in. Bernie Kukar, the referee. Elway said 1 year at Stanford they were 1-7. In '90 at Denver they lost 6 straight and were 1-9 at one point. Lost 9 out of 10.
The only win during that stretch against the Colts. And so often when you try to run outside.
Number 87 on the offense. It's half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Your tight end ends up trying to just hook the outside guy. And unlike in the interior 5, where the official sometimes can't see it, when that tight end holds, such an easy call for the linesman.
And the call goes against Seattle, so they're backed up now. They are in jail with first down and 15 coming up. To the run they go. Again, they go to their money back. Chris Warren, who's been a 1,000+ yard rusher the past 2 years, went to the Pro Bowl for the first time last January. Mecklenburg, the middle linebacker, makes the stop for the Broncos. As Carl told us yesterday, Chris, we feel like we're going to win football games. We haven't cashed in. The wheels have not come off this, even though we haven't played well.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Carl Mecklenburg, he said, I'm excited about this. I said, what? 0-4, you're excited? He said, yeah, it's a challenge. We've never had that kind of a challenge around here. He certainly has taken a positive spin on this whole thing.
You have to do it, I guess. As Meyer takes a deep look. Now he starts to run. Looking for a safety man. He finds one. And then the ball comes in on an errant throw. He was between 2 receivers.
Boy, another huge play that time by Carl Mecklenburg. There was 2 guys open down the field, and all Rick Meyer had to do was just loft it over his head, and they had the easy first down. But Mecklenburg got those big mitts up there and was able to knock it down. You see the receivers running wide open down the field. Kelvin Martin was there, and looked like Rob Thomas down there as well. And Rick Meyer knew that was an easy one.
They're down 10 yards to go.
Now a tough play call for Meyer. He'll see an all-out rush. Third down, and they need 10. He buys time with a play fake, makes the throw, and it's a good one. Out to the 25-yard line. So Meyer on 3rd and 10 throws a 15-yard strike for a first down on the final play of the first quarter. And after the first 15 minutes of play, the Broncos have taken a 3-0 advantage.
There's Charlie Waters, the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. We talked with him last night. He was a little fired up, wasn't he, Don? He was. They had quite a few things to say to us last night. He's been on the sideline, then they put him up in the press box, and they brought him back down to the sideline. But really, he's not making the calls this year. It is Wade Phillips who is making all the defensive calls, and Charlie calls himself the facilitator of those calls.
I tell you, Charlie, like any coach in the throes of a difficult season, he's feeling the pressure. He got played on 5 Super Bowl teams with the Dallas Cowboys. He was an all-pro safety. And he pointed out that last year during one 6-game stretch towards the end of the season, they had all the best defensive numbers in the NFL, the Broncos. That does not carry over. Here's a long ball downfield. Tipped and lost. What a play by the defender, Raphael Robinson again. A Randy Hilliard came over and knocked it away. As Michael Bates, Olympic sprinter who won Olympic bronze at Barcelona in the 200 meters, had a step on him.
Well, now that's 2 big plays by Randy Hilliard, who's replacing Ray Crockett at the cornerback position. I was wondering when Denver was going to come with their first blitz. They did that time. Steve Atwater came, left man-to-man coverage, and Randy Hilliard, another play. Watch him jump over the back to knock it away. That's just brilliant corner play.
Terrific play by Hilliard, starting for the injured Ray Crockett. That brings up 2nd down and 10 for Seattle. To the run, Warren finds a gap. Warren's big at 225 pounds, and as you see, very quick laterally as he shifted gears and broke ahead for a gain of 8 yards. Tackled by Dennis Smith.
Yeah, Dennis Smith made the tackle on this play, and Dennis to be perfectly honest, played a horrible game last week against Buffalo. And
by his own admission.
Yeah, really a couple of key situations arguably cost them a couple of touchdowns. You could perhaps even say the game on occasion. He thought about retiring after the game on the way home.
Said his wife Andre helped him get over that. There's a nice throw by Meyer in the flat. He gets Brian Blades, who makes his 29th catch of the year. Blades is coming off a career reception record for a Seattle player. He caught 80 balls a year ago.
Came into this game with 28 catches, which was second in the AFC only to Ben Coates, averaging only 11.5 yards per catch, which is fairly small for a big play receiver like Brian Blades. He did have some hamstring problems during the course of the preseason, though.
But you talked about that possession passing game. They like to move the ball, keep their defense fresh if they can, Seattle. They made some downfield throws today and almost hit 2 of them. But normally they keep a very conservative play call for the second-year quarterback.
The offense, number 75, prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's like the house moved. Howard Ballard.
The house hasn't missed a play so far during the course of the season. A free agent pickup. Played so many years with the Buffalo Bills, and boy, would the Buffalo Bills like to have the house back.
Man.
Real problems up front for Buffalo.
Although they got over some of them today, beating Miami, but they really miss House Ballard. He was a Pro Bowl tackle last January and came in here for some Seattle millions.
John Fina hurt now.
Yeah, John Fina, the left tackle, is out. And a 1st and 15 play. Most of the Denver defense comes up and makes the hit on Chris Warren. Elijah Alexander, outside linebacker, was the lead tackler.
And I think we could fairly say the crowd was less than enthusiastic about this 1st and 15 call as the Boo Birds were out. Well, Elijah Alexander has really been a nice surprise for this Denver defense. Replaced Carl Mecklenburg at the beginning of the season. In his first start ever against San Diego, had 10 tackles to lead the team, and twice since that he's also led the team in tackles. I don't think they really expected that much out of him.
He's played well, number 58 at the right outside. Meyer takes a look. His receiver, Kelvin Martin, lost his footing trying to run a slant off the right flank and slipped and fell. You've done that, Chris.
More than once.
Not often.
That time, Ben Smith just manhandled Kelvin Martin on the outside, bump and run coverage, and the bump was just too much. He literally knocked him down.
Now again, Meyer faced with a tough play call. 3rd down, and the Seahawks need 14 as they set up in the shotgun. Time he runs out of it. He gets the ball away, but a terrific defensive play by Mike Kroll, an outside linebacker. His assignment was Chris Warren, and that's where the ball went. And Kroll knocks him down for a gain of just 3 yards. So they're way short of the first down, and Seattle must punt again.
Really a very conservative call on 3rd down and 15. You get the feeling that after the 2 turnovers, Tom Flory just wanted to not take a chance and punt this football away and rely on the strength of this team, which is their defense.
There's Glenn Milburn back deep for the Broncos. Ready to punt the ball for the Seattle Seahawks is Rick Tootin. He hits a line drive, but it takes a Seattle bounce inside the 25. And it turns out to be a pretty good punt all the way down to the 21-yard line.
A pretty ugly punt.
It was ugly, but the end result was pinned him back pretty good. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Broncos at their 21. Back at Husky Stadium on the shores of Lake Washington. Don Criqui with Chris Collinsworth. Seattle's turned the ball over twice in this game. The first one, a pick of Rick Meyer by Atwater, was turned into the go-ahead field goal. That's all we've had so far.
Yeah, really very uncharacteristic of this Seattle team. They like to play conservatively, but at least for the Denver Broncos, who so desperately need a win here this afternoon, a good first quarter, and perhaps, just perhaps, they can get themselves back on track.
They need a win so badly, do the Broncos, and now they have the ball at their 21-yard line. 1st down and 10. Elway hands off on a counter play, running with the ball and having problems doing it is Leonard Russell, the big back out of Arizona State, a former #1 draft pick of New England. And We'll watch Big Leonard in action again.
Little counter tray, bringing the offside guard and tackle around, and Terry Wooden, who's having the best year of his career without question for Seattle, up to the task.
Elway in a shotgun formation. Fastball, but too much lead on it. Turning out of the ball was Tillman, one of his wideouts. And that brings up third down.
Rod Stevens coming on a blitz right up the middle. The Broncos don't even lay a glove on him, and he is going to tattoo John Elway. Been a rough start for John.
It's interesting, Tillman, the defensive coordinator, Rusty Tillman for Seattle, talking about one of the reasons Elway's such a good runner is he's so big. He said, it's not just speed. He said, he's strong. He breaks tackles. On 3rd and 11, Elway fires a strike down the middle. It'll be very close to a first down. The spot will be everything here. And if he has it, it might be just by the nose of the ball, as he got his all-pro tight end Shannon Sharp. Shannon, we met with him yesterday, has treated himself after he made first-team All-Pro to a custom-made diamond-studded watch. I think that watch, Chris, might be worth more than my house. What a watch.
Yeah.
He leads the league in watches, Shannon.
And Shannon Sharp's also happy to have that knee brace on his knee. This is a big play here on 3rd down. Did pick up the first down. Remember the bet he had last year with his brother Sterling? I think it was like $20,000 as you take a look at the knee brace. And when Sterling jumped out and was on pace to go over 100 again, he said, I had to settle out of court.
That's right.
And part of the settlement was that he wasn't allowed to tell how much the settlement was.
That's right. As he, and that's a pretty good family tandem there. His brother Sterling of the Packers and Shannon taking turns making All-Pro. And off goes to Reggie Rivers. A penalty marker comes in from the side judge. Outside linebacker Rufus Porter was the lead tackler for the Seahawks with 10:15 to go in the first half, and Denver leading 3-0. All against the Broncos. That is the first.
Holding number 64 on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat the first down.
Got the left guard, Melander.
We've seen John Melander out in front of these sweeps on a regular basis. The big guy pulling out in front, working against Rufus Porter, I believe. Oh, he just grabbed one. You know, if you do that on an interior block, it's not a hold. But out there on the outside, sometimes the side judges aren't used to seeing it.
Let's see what John Elway goes to on 1st and 20. Nice throw. It's just tipped away. A good defensive play by Terry Wooden. Elway right where the ball had to be, it would seem, to his tight end Shannon Sharp, but Wooden gets a piece of the ball.
But you can tell how comfortable John Elway is with Shannon Sharp when they are in long yardage situation. He looks for the big tight end. He's made so many plays for him in the past. And Terry Wooden, who continues to have such a great year, knocked it away, and John Elway a little frustrated.
Johnson, I hate when that happens. Looked like a first down throw. 2nd and 20. Nice screen set up to Milburn. He's a breakaway runner if they give him a block. At 180 pounds, he's not heavy enough to break tackles by linebackers. Cortez Kennedy and Terry Wooden, about 550 pounds of football players, take him down.
So impressed with the play this year of Terry Wooden after a couple of knee operations. Some question whether or not he was going to be able to come back and make the plays, but he has been phenomenal. Either tied for or led this team in tackles in 4 out of the 5 games. Returned a touchdown on an interception earlier this season. Has been simply phenomenal.
The crowd kicks in. Elway hit hard and sacked back at the 13-yard line. Bob Spitulski, 58, a backup linebacker, came on a blitz. Check this out, Chris.
I guarantee you, Bob Spitulski is having a ball getting his hands on John Elway. I remember yesterday we were talking to Cortez Kennedy. We asked him if he'd ever sacked Elway, and he said, yeah, once, but I never got a chance to really hit him the way that I wanted to.
Never hit him like you'd like, as he said. Here's a long punt downfield to Kelvin Martin. Backpedaling, will return it from his 28 to the 35, and he's hit hard. Interestingly, talked with one of the great kick returners, Rod Woodson, the other week about returning kicks. He said the key to returning them is go as fast as you can as soon as you get the ball.
Imagine the feeling of running with the wind at your back. Moving effortlessly in total control.
Place on earth they should ever go.
After a look at beautiful Puget Sound by Seattle, we come back to Husky Stadium, where the Washington Huskies won again yesterday. Beat San Jose State as Napoleon Kaufman had a big day, 254 yards rushing. One of the leading Heisman candidates right now. Rick Meyer fires downfield. He hits the open man. Blades turning out. Meyer right on target for a first down throw.
I love the call that time because Randy Hilliard had some success covering against the deep ball. They had thrown the ball twice down the field. Of course, you know Tom Flores and his history with the Raiders. A little hesitate and go. Flores always believed in the deep ball out there, and then this time they go with the play off of that, the comeback route.
Pitch back to Warren. Blockers in front, and good defense by the Broncos as Dan Williams, a 290-pound tackle from Toledo, who's troubled by some knee injuries and has lost some of his speed, but still a very good young football player. He shed the block and made the tackle.
Such high expectations for these couple of defensive linemen, Dan Williams and Ted Washington, who came over from San Francisco, the former #1 draft pick, but both of those guys banged up the entire preseason, really didn't get a chance to practice in pads until the final preseason game.
Now they're both back, Williams and Washington, albeit hampered. It is second down and 10. Meyer with a play fake, swings it out, gets his man. Coming out of the backfield is Tracy Johnson, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 43-yard line by cornerback Ben Smith. We talked to Charlie Waters yesterday, Chris. It was interesting when he assessed his defense, saying, we don't know who we are.
Yeah, they really don't, and they've got some people that you just have to question whether or not it's the correct decision. I mean, Carl Mecklenburg obviously in there because of the injury to Dave Wyman. Not great speed in this defense with the two deep safeties. You have to be able to chase the tight end down the field. Dennis Smith trying to cover a half the field in his 14th year in the league. Some serious question marks about whether or not these guys are in the right place.
Meyer swings it out. Beautiful lead for Warren. He breaks ahead. He's got a first down as he is down to the 35-yard line. So that first and long situation is now turned into a first down for the Seahawks. Call going against Denver.
It's like Denver tried to defend with
12
12.
men in the field on the defense. The penalty is declined. First down.
What Waters meant when he talked about we don't know who we are, he said, you know, we only have 3 starters back on our defense from last year. We've got a lot of good football players who've come in from other teams in different systems, and it's in a period of adjustment and acclimation.
Right. They brought in Ben Smith and Ray Crockett at the cornerback position, which was a problem a year ago. But to be honest with you, Ray Crockett out of this game with an injury, but he's been somewhat of a bust.
Meyer buys time with the fake, throws over the middle. He throws another strike. It's good for a first down. Field a little damp. You can see the wetness on it as Kelvin Martin makes his 27th catch of the year for a first down.
Kelvin Martin's really been picking up the pace in the last couple of games, and when you want to play this too deep look, there's always a hole right over the football. Dennis Smith tried to break late on the ball, but simply couldn't get there in time. That's really the responsibility of the linebackers to get underneath that throw.
Broncos plug the gaps on defense and don't give Warren any room to run. He finally puts his head down and gets a couple of yards to the 20. Shane Granette was on the stop along with Simon Fletcher, who we haven't called his name much today. Fletcher, but he can make a lot of plays.
Simon Fletcher had a couple of sacks against Buffalo, but he's much more of a pure pass rushing guy. Makes a nice play there. House Ballard let him go just too soon. But one of the interesting things that Charlie Waters told us yesterday was that we really don't have anybody in this front seven that is feared by anyone in the league.
Some people are nervous about Fletcher. He's had a lot of sacks, and again on a running play, 2nd and 8. The Seahawks go conservative and don't get anything out of it. Now they come up to 3rd down. Meyer, a good play faker. He's able to buy time, faking the handoff to his backs when he's dropping to throw.
Well, the LA Raiders have proven that you don't have to run the football to beat this Denver Bronco defense. They shellacked them twice at the end of last year and then again during the regular season this year, and they do it almost exclusively with the pass. There's Tom Flores and his rich history with the LA Raiders.
Coach of 2 Super Bowl championships with that team as Meyer takes a look, runs out of time, fires to the end zone, and wisely throws it away as there was good coverage by the Bronco defenders. Kelvin Martin was in the area of the ball, and now a very good place kicker comes out, John Casey, who has hit on 7 of 8 field goals so far this season.
And John Casey, who did not get a chance to kick that 50-yard field goal last week that could have possibly won the football game. He was disappointed. He threw his helmet, threw his water cup, threw his towel, threw everything he could find, and still didn't get a chance to kick it. Point of controversy, I'm sure, this week in Seattle.
This is a 37-yarder. As you see, his longest this season is 45. He can hit from 50. Snap and set down. Kick is on the way, and Casey arcs it through with the bend and ties the game at 3-all with 4:01 left to play in the first half, which is moving by quickly. Seattle kicks off when we come back. High spinning kick will carry short. Coming up with the ball is Binote, rookie from Ohio State. And he is upended on a sensational special teams play by Michael Bates. Wow. He gets down there fast. Olympic sprinters can do that.
A wide receiver, I want you to know, John Crick. He laid that kind of hit on that kickoff. Boy, there's never been any question about his toughness. Guy that can fly and fly into people as well. Michael Bates, who made such a big hit on that kickoff, came into the game with a bad ankle, may have a bad head after a couple more shots like that.
That was a full-time whack. Running with the ball is Leonard Russell as he takes it across the 30 to the 32. There was a lot of criticism in New England when they let Leonard Russell get away after a 1,000-yard year, particularly after Parcells and his Patriots lost their first 2 games and had no running game. They have more passing yards than any team in the league, do the Patriots, because of the Washington State star Drew Bledsoe. Right now, New England's leading the Raiders 3-0 in the second quarter. Elway setting up on 2nd down and a long 4. He looks, he fires, and again he's off target. Going to the out pattern. 3rd and 4.
So much frustration on the part of these Denver Broncos. Elway missing passes and guys missing blocks and holes and blitz reads, and anything that could go wrong so far for the Denver Broncos has. And well, I tell you, the pressure now really beginning to build on Wade Phillips.
But the Broncos are right in it. It's a 3-3 game with a long way to go. We're in late in the second quarter. 3rd down play as the Broncos look to convert with an Elway throw. Fastball, and it's tipped away by Robert Blackman, the strong safety. And had Elway not had that much heat on the ball, throwing a tight spiral fastball, that would have been run back for a touchdown.
Blackman just reading the quarterback's eyes. He's playing center field, and you see him watching Elway and just times it out.
Raiders now up on New England 7-3. Kelvin Martin is back deep for Seattle. Bruin punts the ball downfield for the Broncos. A well-hit ball down to the 14-yard line. And Martin is upended as there's good special teams play there. Coming down to make the play is number 25, Charles Swan, a rookie free agent. And it looks like Kelvin Martin, Chris, is down now for Seattle.
He's flipped. Don't know if he landed on his shoulder or looks like he's pointing towards his knee. That'd be a big blow for this team with the injury to Michael Bates already. They don't feel comfortable playing him.
This is not a good playing field. It's like playing on a parking lot. What do you think if they took a vote in the NFL, Chris, and had the players vote on whether we play on natural grass or turf? The vote would be
not close.
Now, while we have a moment, we'll go to NFL Live in New York. Here's Greg.
All right, Donna, we'll go to San Diego for the AFC West showdown between the Chargers and the Chiefs. Stan Humphries to Tony Martin. He turns this into 48 yards, and it set up a John Carney field goal. San Diego is on top in the second quarter, 6-3 over Kansas City. Don and Chris, back to you.
Thanks, Greg. Tom Flores, normally very composed on the sideline, not happy at all about whatever went on out there. Good to see that Kelvin's up and getting off under his own steam, albeit with a limp.
Well, these Seahawk fans will remember Tony Martin. Tony Martin went about 99 with one here on a tried to blitz and took off and made a big touchdown play against Seattle, a game that San Diego won, one of the first four.
Did he ever? And an all-out blitz. Humphries let it go from the end zone. On 1st and 10, Meyer fakes, eludes the rush. Looks to buy time, and now he takes it down the sideline and steps out of bounds. That'll be a 15-yard late hit foul on Mike Kroll. So that'll advance the ball well downfield. A big play it turns into.
Personal foul, number 51 on the defense, late hit out of bounds. That's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Mike Kroll not happy a little bit. Rick Meyer turns it up the sideline, trying to stretch it for all he can. Looked like about a yard out of bounds. Good call by the officials.
Look at Coach Flores tries to catch his quarterback.
One of the problems, though, for the defensive linebackers as he got out of the way is that Rick Meyer then sort of leaned up the field. He was going to try and stretch it into every extra yard before getting out of bounds, and really a difficult play for a linebacker who weighs 230 pounds to stop his momentum at that point.
Ball's advanced out to the 47. Meyer with a play fake. They're throwing the ball downfield more. Now he's in trouble. He looks and throws it to an open man. Wide open at the 18-yard line. The ball is thrown to Michael Bates. That's is it going to be a live ball? Apparently it is. It's taken away from Bates by Atwater, who has his second turnover. It is a live play, so the pass play was complete, and the Seahawks have turned it over for a third time to the Broncos. A big play by Steve Atwater.
Rondell Jones was completely beaten on the play. Great improvisation here by Rick Meyer. Michael Bates had him completely turned around, but then watch the play at the end. There he is, Randy Hilliard again coming up with another big play. Steve Atwater, that's 3 turnovers so far for Seattle.
Seattle was #1 in the league in turnover ratio. They were +9. That's dropping quickly. But Denver so far only to capitalize on 1 turnover. That was the opening field goal. Elway on 1st down and 10. Runs out of trouble and throws on the run, and he's picked off. They get it right back as Orlando Waters, a rookie cornerback, free agent from Indiana, steps in front of Anthony Miller. So on consecutive plays, we have turnovers. There's also a marker down at the line of scrimmage. Wow. The interception negated on a penalty call offside against Seattle. So Denver keeps the ball with 2:15 to go in the first half, and the game still tied at 3-all.
Offside on the defense, the nose guard. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Had to be lined up in the neutral zone. A little flinch. Boy, what a difference in the ball game. So far, Seattle has really hurt themselves with mistakes.
That makes it 1st and 5, so Elway, instead of losing an interception, finds himself with a nice play call for a QB. And he'll go to the throw. Jumps off a screen. He sold it well, but the Seattle defense comes up. Now tiptoeing the sideline is Glenn Milburn, and he is ahead to a first down. Let's see where they move him out of. They're going to mark him out of bounds at the 38. He'll be just short of it. The giveaway takeaway ratio usually indicates who's winning in the NFL. This is coming into today's game. Seattle +9.
Knocked that one down a few slots.
Denver down at 11 with a -4. We're down to the 2-minute warning. Denver with the ball and a 3-3 tie on the board.
Don and Chris.
We're back to live action now as John Elway steps in and he dumps it off. A nicely played ball, and turning it up down the sideline is Glenn Milburn as he is across the midfield line and down close to the 45-yard line. Wade Phillips seeing his offense come alive now. A lot of different looks and play calls.
Yeah, and just in case you missed the pregame show, I talked to Pat Bolin, who's the owner of the Denver Broncos, and asked him to confirm some Denver media reports that Wade's job was safe until after the season. And he simply said, I never said that. And I said, well, does that mean his job's in jeopardy if they keep losing? He said, I never said that either. He said, nobody's job is safe, not even John Elway. So interpret that as you will.
Pat Bolin said, none of us are doing a good job. The owner, the coaches, or the players when you're 0-4. Elway throws long. Sharp is open, and he has the ball inside the 15-yard line. So Elway, who's missed 3 earlier throws and out patterns, now throws a perfect strike to his all-pro tight end, Shannon Sharp.
And what a turnaround in this game after the fumble by Michael Bates. Now John Elway gets hot, takes it down the field, and there he is, the pacifier. Shannon Sharp is he just like a little comfort aid for John Elway, and you can tell the difference in John's game when Shannon's in there.
That's the first place Elway looks at Sharp. Now he fires another one right to 84 again. It is Shannon Sharp out of bounds at the 10-yard line. A gain of about 3 yards on the play. Knocked out of bounds by a nickelback, Raphael Robinson.
Came out in that San Diego game and had such a big ball game, hurt his knee, missed the next couple, came back against Buffalo and had some impact, caught about 4 balls for 90 yards, but no question about it, a big reason why Denver lost their first 4 was the problems that Shannon Sharp had.
Yeah, he was troubled by a strained knee. Here's a handoff to Milburn. He's quick. He steps out, steps up, and almost steps in. He's down to the 3-yard line. He'll be close to a first down. Looks to be about a foot short of it. As you see the game clock down to 1:38 to play in the first half.
And Glenn Milburn getting a few more chances to run the football in this ball game. He's been used primarily as a receiver, but certainly adds a dimension when you can get him outside. Belander and Habib have been doing a good job all day out in front, just giving him enough room to turn the corner.
It's interesting, we talked to the all-pro safety of Seattle, Eugene Robinson, about what he does when Elway scrambles. He said, I immediately go deep because he's usually looking to throw deep, and then he yells plaster, which means you stick with whoever you have on the offensive side near you. That's the call to his other defensive players.
Also like what Eugene Robinson had to say. He said, on my off day, I found myself driving down the road thinking about John Elway. He said, how sick is that? On my off day, I'm driving around thinking about number 7.
Yeah, he said that's he was on my mind. First and goal. Broncos looking to break a tie game. Big defensive play as middle linebacker Rod Stevens, number 94 from Georgia Tech, makes the head-on shot on Reggie Rivers.
Boy, is that some linebacker play right there. Rod Stevens, who is the run stuffer on this defense. They try to protect him, and then he fills the holes just like that. Perfectly played.
Actually, Chris, a loss of about a yard on the tackle. The ball is near the 5-yard line. It'll be second and goal from there. And this is where the Broncos have stumbled so badly. We talked about those 3 games in the last 2 minutes. They had first downs inside the 15-yard line. In 2 of the games, they came away with nothing. In 1 against the Jets, they ended up with a tying field goal, but then lost it in overtime. Elway wanted to make sure the play call is right as the Broncos call a timeout with 54 seconds left to go in the half. We're back at Husky Stadium with Chris Collinsworth. I'm Don Crickey. We have 54 seconds left to go, and we have the Domino's halftime report with Greg Gumbel and Coach Ditka. Scores and highlights. We could have a highlight coming up in this game very shortly as John Elway has his team set to go second and goal from inside the Seahawks 5-yard line. Elway fires and he comes in high. Having trouble keeping that fastball in the strike zone this year.
Looking a little like Bob Gibson so far, everything up. And John Elway could have walked backwards into the end zone that time. There was no one standing in front of him. The hole opened up, but he was focused so much on his receivers down the field, never saw it. And for Wade Phillips, they could desperately use a touchdown right here. This team has struggled emotionally throughout the first 4 games of the season, and to go in 10-3 instead of 6-3 would give just a big lift to this offense. Take a look at the gap.
Yeah, boy, gee, really.
He could have moonwalked in from there, and that's been really the problem in the story of this Denver offense so far, that they have just missed opportunities. You see Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator, I was talking to him before the game, and he said that the Buffalo game should have never come down to that last throw. We had a couple of people open on the plays prior to that. They ran a draw in which the back cut in the wrong direction, so just continued mistakes by the Denver Broncos, and they're 0-4, and their coach has been taking the heat for it.
Now they come to another of those big plays near the goal line. 3rd down and 5. 4 wide receivers set. Here comes a blitz from Seattle. Elway might be running. Bad snap. Elway is sacked back at the 16-yard line. Blackman, the safety, coming out of blitz. They shot everybody. There's also a penalty marker down in the end zone. Elway says it's against Seattle. 49 seconds to go.
You have got to be kidding me. Well, the Denver Broncos have gotten next to no breaks this entire season. This is a huge one.
Like Anthony Miller was saying, he played for San Diego when that team was
Holding. Number 21 on the defense. That's half the distance to the goal. First down.
Raphael Robinson. So instead of a sack and 4th down at the 16, it's 1st and goal at the 3.
And Tom Flores cannot believe it. His team that prides itself on not making mistakes, not making turnovers, has absolutely played an awful first half.
Seattle having big trouble with turnovers. They've turned it over 3 times now. That critical penalty gives the Broncos new life for a touchdown try. Elway rolling out. He can run it in, and John Elway dives across, and he's in. Big mistake indeed, Chris, by Raphael Robinson, and Elway capitalizes.
A 4-point mistake that time by Robinson. Wow. And there it is for Wade Phillips, perhaps the break he has been waiting for. John Elway had a chance to hit Shannon Sharp. Looked like he was open, but John didn't want to take any chances with having one slip out of his hand this time.
Jason Elam, who hit the field goal to open the scoring, hits the extra point. And with 43 seconds to play in the first half, the Denver Broncos lead this game for a 2nd time. And it was good news for Wade Phillips when he saw number 7 go in the end zone.
Well, you could just feel the pressure when we talked to Wade Phillips yesterday, and you know that one has to feel good. A little cheap that time, but it has to feel good. John Elway's been under a little pressure as well. People have gone so far as to go back and look at all his so-called game-winning drives and scrutinized it, and they've said, well, only 3 times in all of that has he actually thrown a touchdown pass to bring his team from behind. A lot of times it was field goals that they had set up, but when you go 0-4 with a team that was expected to be a Super Bowl contender, everybody takes the heat.
And another thing, Chris, when it's Denver, there's always great expectations just on past performance. This is a team that in the last 21 years has only had 3 losing seasons. The only one better than that is Miami. They've only had 2 losing seasons. And for the full 12 years he's been the quarterback, right since his rookie season in '83, Elway had shouldered the load of this whole franchise more than any player in the league has for another franchise.
That's absolutely right. Plus, you couple that with what Dan Reeves is doing with the New York Giants, and the pressure builds even more.
John Vaughn returning the kickoff. He is across the 20 and dives out to the 26. So we'll see what Rick Meyer and the Seahawks offense can do with just 39 ticks on the first half clock, and Denver in the lead 10-3.
So many mistakes so far by Seattle, and I don't think Tom Flores can believe it. You have to remember that last touchdown drive by the Broncos started because of the fumble by Michael Bates when it looked like Seattle was about to go in for the score.
Yeah, that was a big turnover. All three were. Dennis Smith, the strong safety for the Broncos, says he's never seen a player with the poise at his early age that Rick Meyer has. As he throws an out pattern. Crowd looking for an interference call as the ball was thrown to Kelvin Martin. Ben Smith had his hands on his back, but the official right there ruled it was clean.
And Ben Smith has really made a difference with this Denver secondary. It's allowed them to play a little bit more man coverage. Steve Atwater and Dennis Smith are two big guys back there, great run stoppers, but you wonder whether or not they could cover half the field, which is necessary when they play that too deep zone, which they're in right now. That's always been the question with those two guys.
Meyer from the shotgun. They pick up the blitz. He hits an open man out to the 40-yard line. With 26 seconds left to go and the clock winding down, and now there's a timeout signaled for. Brian Blades with the catch and Ronnie Bradford with the stop for the Broncos. I had a chance to visit yesterday with Rick Meyer's father. Ken Meyer was a very good high school coach in Indiana. He said one of his strong qualities ever since he's been a little kid, he hasn't let anything bother him in the stands or press attention. He said he realized at an early age that you can't control anything outside the boundary lines, so he doesn't even think about it.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, we knew him back in his days at Notre Dame. Very calm, cool, and collected.
He was the high school player of the year at Goshen, Indiana. National High School Player of the Year. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents more hard-hitting NFL action beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. And most of you will see an explosive matchup as Jeff Hostetler and the Raiders go against Dan Marino and the Dolphins. Some of you will see the surprising San Diego Chargers in the Superdome doing battle with New Orleans. Check your local listings for the game in your area. The NFL lineup next Sunday on NBC. They were at Husky Stadium. The 3-2 Seattle Seahawks looking to make something happen with not much time to do it. Just 25 seconds left in the half.
There's always a hole right in the middle of the field against this Denver defense.
Their safeties are really split now. I mean, they drop into a deep zone coverage. Here is the throw down. Another good throw as Meyer gets it down to the 40. 19 seconds left. Seattle still with 2 timeouts. Now they call one with 14 seconds left. So Meyer, with some accurate throwing, gets them down close to long field goal range, but they're not there yet. From where they are now, it would be a 57-yard attempt.
We've seen it so much in the past. I did the Denver game against the Raiders last year. I've seen Denver probably 3 or 4 times in the past couple of years, and when you want to play those 2 deep safeties, it opens up a gap right in the middle of the field, and more often than not, that's where people try to attack Charlie Waters and Wade Phillips' defense.
There's Charlie Waters.
He really doesn't have control of this defense anymore. He made all the calls last year. Now Wade Phillips, the guy that goes in and actually breaking down the film and putting together the defensive game plan, making the calls and doing the signals and doing a little bit of everything. The feeling was that, I suppose, if you're going to go down to doing it yourself.
They're not down yet, though. I mean, he saw San Diego a couple years ago 0-4, and then they win 11 of their next 12, win the division, go to the playoffs, win a playoff game. Not that that's to be expected at Denver, but they still have time to turn it around, but this game is critical. And Denver does lead it as Meyer stands in again. He takes a look, an out pattern, he throws, gets it away as his players were covered. It looked like Martin might have had a move on the ball. It was a little shorter. That leaves just 8 seconds on the clock, so Chris, looks like they have time for one pass, maybe over the middle in the timeout.
Yeah, and John Casey is a guy that has good long range ability as a field goal kicker. He's 5 for 8, I was a little surprised they tried to take that ball and throw it down the field as far as they did. They really only needed to pick up about 6 or 7 yards to have a legitimate shot at a field goal. Let's see if they try some sort of a quick out or just a quick throw. Have to get it out of bounds. No timeouts remaining.
Yeah, no timeout, so it'll have to be an out pattern. They won't have time to set up for anything else. They go over the middle. Chris Warren going to get out of bounds. He ran off the clock.
It's horrible. That's absolutely horrible.
Not heads-up football as Coach Flores. The play was to get out of bounds, but he never did, and the Broncos take a 10-3 lead to the locker room at the half, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.